to 8 carats.
Hi guys, I'm Holly. Thanks for tuning into this special Friday episode of Zoo School Live. We've got a super special episode we're doing today. You see here, I'm next to a wonderful woolly blanket of sheep wool from our Jacob sheep. We actually have a sheep shearer, Hoyt, who's been coming and donating his time to Elmwood Park Zoo for about 8 years to shear our sheep, and he's going to teach you how he does it every year.
Thank you, Holly. Beautiful day today. Welcome. Everyone, first of all, we need to catch a sheep. This is a sheep, Jacob sheep. And then basically we put them on their seat. We give them a seat. Boom. And once you set them down, they pretty much relax. There we go. Get a position there. So sheep have a couple different defense mechanisms. One, they have eyes on the side. That means they hide. Animals with eyes in front means they hunt. So this is an animal that's hunted, so it's always looking out. Of course, it runs as fast as it can to get away from its predators. And also it flocks together. It basically groups together and hopes to, the flock will help its defense mechanism. It also has something special called lanolin. The lanolin pocket is right here. See this amber colored pocket? That's their primary lanolin gland. And when they process the wool, they actually extract the lanolin, they put it in hand lotions, they put it in other medical creams, and even make vitamins out of it. They also have lanolin in their feet, right between their digits here, and in their eye, right in front of their eye. There's a pocket here. I actually put my finger in it a little bit. See, it kind of goes in there. Pure lanolin. They have lanolin throughout their whole body because they have a superficial layer of skin. If they're attacked, the skin will tear and they'll heal very quickly. So I'm going to start with the belly. This is the boy. And do a little bit of legs, and I'll stop and talk a little bit more about the health of the animal. Okay? Ready? Belly is the hardest place to shear because they lay on it all the time, so it often has, the wool is often kind of bunched up a little bit there. So it's getting easier by the second now. Now we do the back leg. A little bit about the health of the animal. You can tell just looking at it. See how nice and pink the skin is here? That means it has good capillaries, it's got good blood flow. I can look at her eyes, the mucous membranes, and pull down and see how nice and pink that is. That means he doesn't have internal parasites. And also, if I take a piece of wool, here, take this piece here, and if I pull on it, this is years growth, and it's very strong. I'm pretty strong, and I can't even pull it apart. That means that the wool has been healthy all year long, which means the sheep has been healthy all year long. Now when you're shearing, you have to shear right on the skin to get a good cut, but here is interesting, she had a little bit of a bump of cyst. So you see a little bit of red. That's because, again, they don't bleed when they're outer skin, but I would gently found that and stopped. So when you're shearing, you have to be very careful and very gentle. And that way you can find out what's happening underneath the wool. I'm gonna do the neck now. pretty? That's a year's growth. Now at this point, the sheep shearer is very happy because the hard work is done. The neck and the stomach and between the legs, that's the hardest part. It's very easy now. One thing to notice is how relaxed the sheep is. The sheep's relaxed, I'm relaxed, and I have my foot under her shoulder. So if I have their feet off the ground, they pretty much relax. They call it being cast in the field. That's why shepherds are always counting sheep when they come back. Make sure there's not one out there just laying there like this. Okay, so the other thing I want to point out is that if you grab their feet, you notice I never hold their feet when I'm shearing because that's how they're attacked. And if I hold their feet, they might think they're attacked and will fight. So trimming hooves, these hooves are perfect. They're perfectly trimmed. Sometimes that's the hardest part because they fight. So I'm going to finish the back of here. Sheep feel good. They look different. They smell different. So oftentimes, she's so relaxed. Oftentimes when they're done, they will sometimes play with each other. I couldn't get too close here because I didn't want to hit the horns with my blades. That'd be bad for the blades and could disturb them. So a little bit of a style there. And we'll lay that and let the sheep go. Ready? Be free. I'm going to lay this all out. Hey, look at this. Nice fabrics out.
So, yeah, we had a question earlier on what we do with the wool. So I don't know if that's something that our friend Ian might be able to answer a little bit better.
Sure. Hi, I'm Ian, the keeper here at Elmwood Park Zoo. And whenever we're done with the wool here, thanks for growing it, Donnie. We'll put it in the freezer for about a week to try to eliminate any bacteria or parasites that might be built up in there, and then we'll distribute it to other animals at the Elmwood Park Zoo. So like our jaguars, for instance, might be an animal that really loves smelling that scent of a Jacob sheep. And we don't want them getting too close to Donnie, the actual sheep, so it's good to give them this wool that we're saving for later.
Thanks, Donnie. Oh. So what would happen if we didn't do a yearly trim for these sheep?
Because we domesticated the sheep, we have an obligation to take the wool off it. In nature, the natural sheep from thousands of years ago would rub against trees and branches and stuff. They would get the wool off that way. If you don't take it off, heat is not much of a concern, but actually other things can happen. They can build up feces, and flies can land and put eggs in there, which is not healthy. So other things can happen. You can't monitor the health of the sheep as well. So that's why it's important to take it off at least once a year. Some breeds you take off several times a year because it grows so fast.
And how much wool is this, would you estimate?
About 5 pounds. Some sheep breeds will give you maybe 3 to 5 pounds. Some sheep breeds will give you 10 to 12 pounds of wool. So each sheep is unique and different. It's both monotonous and fascinating at the same time.
We'll see if we can get them out here.
Show off their new coats.
Yeah.
Looking pretty svelte, guys. Much nicer. How long did it take you to become so skilled at sheep shearing? And
that's the perfect question. How long did it take? Because people say, how long have you been shearing? And I always say that's not the right question. The question is, when did you get to 1,000 sheep? So I started shearing in Delaware Valley College in Doylestown in 1982 as part of my techniques class. And then I got to 1,000 sheep maybe 5 or 8 years later. And you just have to be very careful during that learning phase. And so I do about 2,000 a year part-time. I have a full-time job as well.
very cool. Is there any other fun facts about the wool or the shearing process you'd like to share?
Fun facts. It's just that every sheep is different, and wool is different. The finer wools are harder to cut because they have like down to like 14 microns. This might be like 25 microns. And also the finer wools have more skin, so your technique has to be that much more careful. Other than that, it's never a dull moment.
Have you found there's a particular breed of sheep that is a little easier to work with or harder to work with?
Well,
or
clean face and clean legs, and if they have a simple tail, so there's a group called Finn sheep in Finland. They're very easy. My record is 63 sheep in 3 hours. There were Cheviot sheep with clean faces, clean legs, and clean bellies. You can see that takes a lot of the time. Those details spots. So, just like good healthy sheep.
Awesome. Well, we actually got a comment that says you are amazing, and that was awesome to watch. So thank you so much for allowing us to share this on Zoo School Live. And thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys do have any questions later on, you're welcome to post them in the comments, and we will try our best to hop on there and answer them. And of course, make sure you stop by us in person and see these very beautiful sheep in their new healthy coats. And we will see you guys next week on Tuesday. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.